A possible loss of federal funds would greatly harm KOSU and would likely force the closure of smaller public radio stations across the country. But you have the power to help stop that from happening. Go to kosu.org/cuts to learn how you can help. That's kosu.org/cuts.
The Red Dirt D&D podcast is brought to you by Pro Laser Cuts. The Oklahoma company provides pre-made and customizable design laser cut dice towers, tokens, and more, developed by a gamer for gamers, and now available to enhance your tabletop game. Pro Laser Cuts products can be found at many Oklahoma City area game stores, local events, and now available online at prolasercuts.com. That's laser and cuts with a Z, Pro Laser Cuts. And by SD Way Gaming, where dice goblins unite. Our friends at SD Way Gaming celebrate the beautiful dice players handpick for their games and splendor. SD Way Gaming has expanded to include many tabletop gaming varieties, accessories, and similar fun necessities to include a service for your dice addiction. You can shop for a variety of products at sdwaygaming.com or find SD Way Gaming on Facebook. Welcome to Red Dirt D&D. I'm Michael Cross, and I play Elias Stone, a human cleric.
I'm Connor Shenold. I play Sable, a half-elf rogue.
I'm Johnny Payne, and I play August E. Graymore, a human fighter.
I'm Carrie Hester, and I play Moxie, a tiefling bard.
And I'm Brooke Bullock, your DM. Please join us as we explore the curse of the Clockwork City. Last week, we once again had a party divided as different members of our group were headed off to different areas of the city. August and Moxie had gone to investigate a young man named Peter who had evidently given drugs to Melody at a little dive bar called The Mermaid, where August made an interesting interchange/purchase with a man in the corner named Swarmy. Dr. Stone, seeing an uptick in young people afflicted with Shiv, has taken a young man named Joseph to the Temple of Nagahe in order to try to get him more help and perhaps to check in with the temple and see what help they might be able to lend. Finally, Sable has done a little bit of investigation after seeing the affliction of Joseph down into the wharf area of town, this very dilapidated shanty area of town, wherein you experienced a psychotic hallucination. Were wrapped into it, kind of a contact high type thing, so to speak, with this young man and a ghoulish face that came out of him. You escaped from that, he collapsed, and you have decided to take this young man back to Dr. Stone's office. Let's begin there.
Okay, so lug him across the way, a couple of blocks over, and I get to the door of Dr. Stone's office. Did he happen to lock it behind him?
As I was leaving, I did lock it behind me. By the way, do you know there's now a name for that place?
Yes?
It's Bridgetown Medical.
That's the name of your...
Doctor's office.
Doctor's office, Bridgetown Medical.
Okay, I will heft this guy from slumping across my shoulders to carefully lay him against the side of the door. Yes. And then I am going to try to lock pick. 17.
17. I think that probably surpasses Dr. Stone's lock.
So I put away my thieves' tools, heft this guy back up, and move him to the bed that had recently been occupied and is now no longer. Closing the door behind me. Is the guy showing any signs of starting to kind of wake up?
Natural 1. No.
Okay.
And earlier, if we remember last week, he rolled like a 2 and a 4. Whatever has afflicted him, he is completely comatose.
So I lay him across the bed, and I will actually go ahead and tie off his wrists to whatever part of the bed that it's closer to. I'm imagining a gurney I'll essentially tie one wrist, throw the rope underneath to the other side, and then tie his other wrist off so underneath him is being caught by the table. Just kind of keep him pinned down. I kind of assume he's off of his high, but if something were to happen, I don't want him to run off. And then I'll try once again to wake him up. I think instead of pouring water, I think I'm just gonna give him a hearty slap. Do you want me to roll for that?
Go right ahead. I'll put you in charge of the fate of that.
It's a modified 20.
Oh, fantastic.
So I just haul back and slap him right across the face. Doesn't do any damage, but it should sting a little.
That was a trigger, perhaps. Where am I?
Bridgetown Medical.
Why am I tied down?
You were going through an episode of some sort.
Oh, who are you?
No one of concern, but I do have a couple of questions for you.
You should let me go.
I think you're in the perfect place to be.
If my uncle finds out about this,
Who's your uncle?
he's in the city guard.
You were so happy to tout his name, why don't you just go ahead and drop it?
His name is Reynard, and he is a very important member of the city guard.
Oh dear. And your uncle wouldn't be disappointed that you were found passed out in an alley, hopped up on Shiv?
We don't have to let him know that, and we won't let him know that if you let me go right now.
I think I'll be fine. You, however, have some explaining to do.
Roll me an insight check. Let's see what you figure out.
13.
And yes, you see his shoulders, his body posture, even as he's laying there, just kind of deflate a little bit. And you realize that not only does he realize he's not in a good position from that argument, but also his energy level, that was like all he had.
Don't wear yourself out too soon. I found you in an alleyway, and the most curious thing happened when I saw you there. You were, again, having some sort of episode. Do you want to explain the visions you saw during it?
His face pales even more than it already is. And he was like, it was a bad experience. I'd heard about people trying this new dose of Shiver, and I wanted to get in on it, and so I grabbed a girl and we went to go do that, and then it was like there were things. There was like a skeletal face, is a giant like lolling tongue, and it came at me, trying to eat me.
When I found you, you were alone. What girl did you drag into this?
She was cute. I met her, probably kind of prissy herself. She just wanted to, have some fun or do something adventurous. And so I thought, hey, we'd do this together. And I don't think she's ever done things like this before.
A name?
Melody. Melody's song. It was a Melody. Melody was her name.
Could I reasonably gather that was
I don't think
one of
you
Moxie
even need to
worries?
roll.
Okay.
Like you.
How many melodies do you know?
You're like, oh no.
Classic melody.
Young, immature, a little bit naive, kind of looking to explore the world, and now I'm, time to have some fun. This was totally a Melody situation.
Okay, I've got her name, and what would yours be?
My name's Peter.
What all do you know about Shiv?
Oh, I mean, like, regular Shiv is just kind of dirty. Like, it gives you some hallucinations sometimes. Maybe you'll hear music.
This strand that you took.
I don't know much about it. It's brand new. People are talking about how it's so much more intense, and that, it makes you feel like you're in a completely different place. And a lot of the dealers, well, there's just this one really giving it at a discount.
And who's the dealer?
Well, I don't. And he pauses for a long time and then says, I got it at the Rook's Roost. Anar is the guy that runs the place, but he just runs the place. Like, he buys his stuff.
You've been so good about giving me names. Why hesitate on your dealer?
Well, I don't know who Anar gets his stuff from. It's a place to go, safe, kind of watch out for you.
I'll just go ahead and do an insight on him not knowing. And
You know of Rook's Roost? Like, you know it exists. You don't know much about it. Earlier in a previous episode, you knew that the Soiled Sow is also a Shiv den, and it's not a safe place to be
And
at all.
he had stumbled out of the soiled towel,
He had
right?
stumbled out of the Soiled Sow. Yes.
Okay. Peter, you got your stash at Rook's Roost. Why head next to the soiled sow?
That's where I was?
Found you in the alley next to it,
What's I doing there?
having your little episode.
No, that's a bad part of town. I mean, they're all kind of bad, but like that's dangerous. I'd never go down there. Someone would get murdered or have all your stuff stolen.
You very well could have been, had I not found you.
And you can see this realization across his face that whatever happened in between the time he got some things where he said at Rook's Roost and you finding him in Soiled Sow, he's like, it spooks him a little bit. He doesn't apparently have any memory of the in-between time.
That certainly is the question of the day, how you got from Rook's Roost to the soiled sow. However, something interesting happened as I approached you in that alleyway. You said a skeleton was attacking you?
It was really gaunt. Like the flesh was just pressed against bone, and then that tongue. Ugh.
See, as I stepped within a few feet of you, the same thing attacked me.
His eyes get wide. That look of fear kind of comes back. Why would that happen?
You know Shiv is made from a strand of phase spider venom, correct?
What's a phase spider?
Sable kind of visibly, pinches the bridge of his nose. A very vicious spider known to use phasing in and out of planes.
A what?
Regardless, this isn't something you should continue to take.
No, that's bad news. You even see his hands, they're tied down, but you even see his hands kind of start to shake a little bit.
That's kind of all the questions I have for him. Do you want Stone to appear?
Did you lock the door behind you?
No, I just closed it.
Yeah, about this time, Dr. Stone comes back from the orphanage and checks the door, and it's unlocked. And this bothers him a bit, so he slowly opens it to hear what's going on. Can I have a perception check?
Yeah, go right ahead.
Oh, that's an 18 plus
Yeah, we're not talking
Five.
very hushed.
23.
Yeah. Not only are their voices, you recognize one of them as Sable's voice.
Okay, turn around and close the door, and I'm actually gonna lock it. And I'm gonna walk in, say, Sable, are you here?
I'm here, Doctor.
So I'm gonna open up the curtain, and I see you with somebody on the table.
This mousy, sandy, flop hairstyled young man in a silk red shirt that's stained. It's not brand new by any means. Sable has him tied down with the straps to this gurney table of yours. Super pale, has just a tiny bit of a shake to himself. You've obviously Shiv that you've experienced in the last couple of weeks.
But I would ask if this is a friend of yours, but I see that you've got him tied down, so I'm guessing not. Who is this?
Another Shiv victim for you, Doctor.
Where'd you find this one?
In an alley outside of the soiled sow.
So you went down there.
I did.
Anything else you find besides this kid?
Bit of an interesting thing happened. He stumbled into an alley, had an episode. I went to approach, and a strange creature popped out and attacked me. I will describe not a full skeleton, but face very gaunt, skin stretched out with a really long, lopping tongue.
Oh, well then what you just encountered was a ghoul in broad daylight by the soiled sow.
It popped out of nowhere. When I approached Peter, and I'll gesture to the guy on the table, a strange shimmering effect hit the air around us. And that's when this creature came out and tried to attack me. When I backed up a few feet, it disappeared.
So it sounds like that thing, like the phasing thing that happened.
That's what I'm suspecting. Peter here has not been much help. Bit of a dunce.
He looks at Dr. Stone. My uncle is in the city guard, and this guy is, I don't know, tying me down.
His uncle's in the city guard. Who's his uncle?
Said someone, Reynard.
Reynard. I know that name. Wait, that was the city god that we met at the gate when we entered into Ironspire a couple weeks ago. Yeah, he's not too bright.
You can see him open his mouth as if to say something, and then he just stops.
Peter, I just took another young man to the Ningahe temple to be cared for. Do we need to take you somewhere, or do you have a place to stay?
No, I have a place to stay.
Where are you staying?
I'd rather not say.
Peter, we've been over this. You've been very forthcoming. Why stop now?
Well, Uncle doesn't exactly know where I am. My parents are jerks, and I found a job at a place, and I'm staying at this wonderful bar called The Mermaid.
So what I know about the mermaid?
You may not.
I've been here a couple
know about
weeks,
The
but I don't
Mermaid. You
know.
can roll and see, and
Would I?
You would know.
Sable
I'm sure.
can definitely
Tell you
roll.
what, just,
with,
yeah, you do.
Sable
it.
roll with advantage.
Okay. So that's gonna be an 8.
I'm gonna give you a little bit of a bonus.
Like maybe I heard Moxie
100%.
Complaining.
You've heard Moxie complain about this terrible tallow smoke filled, and so when he says it's a wonderful place, whatever reaction you want to have to that, because it's not.
I'll just scoff. Yes, such a lovely place.
And you see on his face, he knows, but he's sticking to his guns.
Peter, is this the first time you've taken this strand of Shiv?
Yeah, I'm not doing that again. It was scary.
Okay, so do we need to keep him for any more reasons, or do we just send him off? How far away is this mermaid?
That's 5 or 6 blocks. It's kind of over toward the wharf area and then south of the fishery.
Do we want to walk him over there so he can get there safely?
I think he's fine. He had an episode, seems to have gone through it. I tied him up mostly just in case he still had some remnants of it.
Oh, what about that girl? Was there a girl with me?
What girl?
Melody, she was one of the Siren Song employees, I gather.
The young one.
Yes.
What was she doing with that?
Young, also not the brightest. He seems like he can get to where he needs to go, but that does lead us closer to the Siren Song if we want to meet up with Mox.
We might as well walk him over there. Make sure he gets there safely. Unfortunately, once you get into this kind of world, Peter, it's hard to get out. I can tell you that right now, so you gotta be careful. We'll walk you over there and make sure you're safe.
Oh, you sound like my dad.
If I hear you're taking this new strand of Shiv again, Renard might be getting something interesting in the mail.
We're good. We're cool.
Let's get him out of here, Doctor. I'll untie him.
And we're gonna walk over to the mermaid. So I went over to the Ningahe temple to drop off Joseph, and I talked to Yuri. What did I find out from Yuri?
So you basically asked her if she had seen any upticks in Shiv as well, and in that part of town they hadn't seen any upticks in it, although as you bring Joseph there, she is aware of the affliction. She does say something about, if you describe the hallucinations of it, Shiv doesn't normally have that strong of a hallucination. And if you mentioned Joseph actually point out the bruises that were on Joseph's throat, she's never heard of that happening, any type of physical manifestation of the hallucination that they're on.
The
Never
drug's
heard
been
of
altered.
that. Yeah, as you share that with, you guys will figure that out.
So we get to the mermaid.
If we time it where we're arriving as they're leaving, Moxie steps out first.
You see Sable and Dr. Stone with this young man, red silk shirt, kind of stained, not the best looking attire, although maybe it once was. Floppy, sandy brown hair.
Sable, what are you doing on this side of town? I didn't know this was part of your beat.
Yeah, I got an interesting thing I'm looking into. New strand of Shiv going around.
Believe me, I heard of it. That's why I'm down here in the first place.
Good thing we caught up with you. Peter here says he was hanging out with Melody.
No words exchanged. Moxie grabs her necklace from Rhapsody, puts her fingers through it and grabs it at the same time, rips it off her neck, and just lobs Peter in the jaw. 16. So 11 damage.
You punch him, and he falls unconscious in my arms. And I said, I know what he did, and you are totally right to do it, but we got to get him inside.
Dr. Stone, are you making house calls on the street now?
I was not, but we were bringing back Peter, who was doing fine until somebody punched him.
And Moxie like lifts his chin, looks at him, and inspects him a bit. She's like, listen, he's a bad man, but I get it. While she's holding him, can I mark him?
100% you can mark him. You betcha. So this time you are mad.
Right, I am angry. But listen, he and I are even now. We're square. I got my punch in. I feel better.
So I reach into my doctor's bag and I pull out some smelling salts and I wave him under his nose to wake him up.
Oh, yeah.
All right. When I told you the bad things happen when you do these drugs, this is an example of the bad things that happen.
And he spits out a tooth. Looks around, looks at August. Dude, not cool. Assuming you were the one that punched him, right?
I motion to Moxie, and I show the back of my hands and the front of my hands.
And she grabs him by the front of the shirt. Not like super scary, just points his attention back towards her and says, first thing you're gonna do is you're never gonna talk to Melody again. Step 1. Step 2, get off drugs. Step 3, find somewhere else to live. This is a hovel at best.
And she don't want to be doing drugs and living in a hovel. Who does that?
Then she's gonna look at Sable and be like, did you get everything you can from him?
Yeah, not extremely helpful, but I got enough information from him.
Excellent. How old does this guy look?
Older teen, early 20s.
And then she's gonna release his shirt and take a step back. And I'm just gonna stand over here and just like take a few steps away and kind of like cool down.
He appears to have the shakes again, right? Possibly from intimidation, possibly from, again, just a little bit of nerves. Could be a little bit of the Shiv wobbling again, but he looks pretty rough and nervous and scared.
All right. So you're going to go in there and you're going to get a couple of days of rest, right?
Yeah.
All right. Go, Peter.
He stumbles away from you guys and then stumbles up next to August, and
Oh, wait a minute. Who is your uncle?
all the bravado is out of his voice. Like, I already told you, my uncle's in the city guard. Name is Renard, important guy. Looks up at August, says, can you get out of my way, please?
He's not as important as you think he is, and I will open the door for him and then trip him.
Natural 6. Inside, you hear, hey, Peter, there were some guys looking for you. Oh, they found you.
So you came to find this Peter because of what happened to Melody.
Of course.
How's she doing?
She's got a few days off to sleep.
Did you take any of the Shiv?
Of course.
What did you see?
What do you mean, what did I see?
Well, apparently a ghoul jumped out of Peter's face.
A strange shimmering effect to the air around
Oh, you mean
Peter.
the spiders that probably live in my apartment now?
So wait, you saw a spider
Yeah.
and you saw a ghoul.
Yeah.
And we didn't see anything from Joseph. He just got nervous and he had some marks around his neck, like something was really there. When I talked to Yuri at the Temple of Ningahe, she seemed to think that nothing like this has ever been heard of from Shiv before. So this is a new...
Yeah, this is definitely a new strand going around. Peter said he got it at Rook's Roost.
You know about Rook's Roost?
I don't know where it is. It's not as high class as this place. And looks at the door behind him.
Wow.
Go ahead and roll history, and let's see what kind of knowledge you can put together.
And that is a total of 9.
Yeah, you know of Rook's Roost, and it's a Shiv den. It's about on par with this place.
But it's more than likely where Peter got his stuff. So do we want to check it out?
We also have to check out Soiled Sal.
Soiled South sounds more like just a place where people go. I don't think that's where they're getting this stuff, maybe.
Peter seems to have some strange time missing in his recollection of stuff. He didn't even remember going to the Soiled Sal, and yet he stumbled out of it when I first caught sight of him.
Well, I'm not necessarily extremely comfortable standing around in one spot long, especially in front of a place like this. So, since everything here is crispy, why don't we move along and go to the Sal? World building if you want to. Crispy is what I bought. You know what crispy is, Sable. Weird that I said crispy.
I think the roost could be some information. If we wanted to have, Sable scouted out.
The Soiled Sal has a worse reputation than Rook's Roost. I think if we do split the party, me and August, Soiled Sal, Stone and Moxie, the Roost.
I worry about going to either of those places on separate. Even if they're one's not worse than the other, we're talking about still people phasing in and out of stuff.
We could just all go to one or the other.
I think
but-
we should all go to one or the other.
And I think Sable would also say, if something were to happen with the hallucinations, you get a couple of feet away from it. You should, in theory, be fine.
And if 5 or 6 people are doing it,
Yeah, we just don't know that.
yeah.
yet.
I say stay together with what we're about to do.
Okay.
So I say we go to the south first.
Yeah.
Well, the question is, what are we hoping to gain by
That's
going to the
right.
south?
I'm still kind of looking for a dealer's name, honestly and truly. We could go in and pose, hey, we've heard a new strand of shivs out on the line. Who did you hook up with to get some? If these people are coherent in any way.
But Peter told you that he purchased at the Roost, but he ended up at the Sow.
Yeah.
So if we're looking for dealers, then we would go to the Roost.
Yeah.
I think the sow is just a place where they drop people off.
If we go to the Roost and we ask about or mention or come up with some information maybe about Peter, maybe like, oh yeah, we threw that guy out, or because we don't know why Melody left him.
Do we want to split up but not split up? So you and Moxie talk about Peter, like go to the Roost, hey, we heard so-and-so was here, like what happened after, and then you and I are looking for drugs. August
So
and I are
going
looking for
separately,
Like
But
we
to-
did at the Copper Moon.
drugs. Yeah.
I like that idea.
We could do that.
That's the conversation we could be having as we're on our way
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
So
yeah.
we're gonna be plotting, and this is actually quite a ways away. 10 or 12 blocks.
From the siren song, the mermaid is 7-8 blocks.
And how far is the route?
The Roost is on up the wharf, so it's about, from the siren song, it also is about 7-8 blocks, but you go north instead of south.
So we could be plotting all this the entire time. So, Moxie, you and I are going in. Why?
My gut feeling is to go in like an angry mother because Melody came home high as a kite.
That's how we can do it.
That's gonna get us in trouble, Mr. Stone. I go in there making a ruckus.
You guys could go in there looking for Peter.
We're looking for Melody.
Yeah. When Peter was talking to me, did he say both him and Melody did go to the Roost?
They both went to the Roost.
Okay, yeah.
He took her to the Roost.
That's fair. You could be looking for either one of them.
So why don't
Because
you
I'm
guys?
suspicious that when whatever happened at the Roost that made Peter leave the Roost, that's when Melody diverged.
Yeah.
So
for
why
whatever
don't you
reason.
guys go in first? Because you guys have got an idea of what you're doing.
As the group leaves the mermaid and you start heading toward the Roost, it sounds like, maybe there's this natural spacing that begins to form. Sable, it kind of seems like you have a question for August in the back of your head, maybe?
So, making sure we're a little bit a ways from Moxie and Stone, them trailing behind us.
Perhaps Moxie is just pulling information from Dr. Stone about what do I need to do for Melody? What's this shift thing? They're not paying attention to what you guys are doing.
So, yeah, pulling ahead, they're distracted behind us. Sable's still just kind of looking forward. Crispy, huh?
August will stop in his tracks, sit on his heels, and look at Sable, dead in the eye, dead serious. Glance to his right a bit as he sees the good Dr. Moxie walking up, gaining on them while they're casually walking. Let a sigh and turn and continue walking the way you both
follow.
were. Says, this organization that you're a part of, clarify something for me. Is it a master you serve, or do you serve secret?
I serve the good of society.
Yes, Crispy.
Are all old city guards the same as you are?
Oh, come now, Sable. I'm no longer in the city guard, am I?
Maybe not physically.
True. Perhaps in spirit I am a man without a place, without a home. I don't know what I am. But I am here for the good of society.
That's all we can ask out of people.
Do you imagine this Shiv? Is it just the natural evolution of the party? Or do you think someone is painting it?
I think it's being tampered with. Not quite sure the purpose of what everything and the way things are playing out will go, but best to keep it off the streets.
For the good of society.
Exactly.
Speaking of society, is that all you have on Shiv? Is speculation?
Never been one to be out of my own control, and dealing with Peter now, have a little bit of experience of the, I believe you said contact high, and I think that's a good word for it. Outside of that, no personal experience.
Nothing from your insiders?
My contacts are keeping things close to their chest. I believe this is a test for me.
Well, hopefully it's a test we can all pass, and keep something in mind, Sable. Secrets, our master, we both obey. Now we'll start walking a little faster.
And as you guys walk down the street toward the Rook's Roost, you turn and see an alleyway, and some wooden stairs are crawling up the alleyway wall toward a second-story awning that shelters a stout iron door roughly etched with blackbirds. And the Rook's Roost awaits.
Red Dirt D&D Curse of the Clockwork City is Brooke Bullock as our Dungeon Master, Kiri Hester as Moxie, Connor Shenold as Sable, Johnny Payne as August E. Graymore, and I'm Michael Cross as Dr. Elias Stone. Our theme music comes from Ovani Sound. Our sound effects and additional music courtesy of Jeffrey McBride, Monument Studios, Describe.com, and TabletopAudio.com. Dice for the Red Dirt D&D cast provided by ST Way Gaming. You can find us at reddirtdnd.com. If you are enjoying Red Dirt D&D, make sure to subscribe, rate us, and leave a comment. Also, tell your friends about Red Dirt D&D. You can also support the show at patreon.com/reddirtdnd at whatever giving level works best for you. Join us next time as we discover more secrets in the Clockwork City.